Howdy, folks, and welcome back to Bagel Dog DIY. I'm your host, Ben, coming today on this lovely spring day, doing some recording. I finally got a microphone, so I haven't posted any videos in a few weeks. I've been waiting on getting some things and trying to make a little bit better video for you. It's springtime here. We've been doing lots of planting, lots of fencing, garden work, and tree trimming. My fiance and I are getting married here in September at the property, so yeah, lots of preparation for that, tree trimming, all sorts of good stuff. But in today's video, we're going to be putting up an antique tin ceilings that I salvaged when I was about 16 years old with my mom and a friend of hers. So I've been hauling around these panels for a long time. They are actually old antique panels from an old bank building. And I've moved with them 4 or 5 times. I've had them for a long time. We're going to leave them patinaed for now, just the way they are, and get them put up in the dining room here. The first step in this process for me is actually putting up, this is just some 1/2-inch OSB plywood, and I'm just screwing this right into the joists. This is just the tin ceiling has to be hand nailed, or at least I couldn't find a screw that was decorative and nice looking. So I wanted to just be able to nail it wherever it lay. I knew I wasn't going to hit studs, and I knew if I just nailed it into the sheetrock, the nails would pull out over time. I could have probably put some glue on it and then nailed it into the sheetrock. I don't know. This was the cheapest, easiest way. OSB is about $11 a sheet for 1/2-inch OSB. I needed 3 sheets to do this room. Maybe I needed 4. Anyway, whatever I needed. So that's what you see me doing here. I take down the ceiling fan. I take down the smoke detector. I cut the circles out for those. Just measure and cut them. And Carol helps me on the ladder there. And dogs are relaxing, resting, playing. Hi, puppers. But yeah, just get that OSB up there. And this is essentially just a backer. It's just going to give me something to nail my new ceiling into. So once I get all that thrown up, you can see that there's now a 1/2-inch gap there by that smoke alarm. I do end up putting in those like box extender rings that they make. I still need to do a video on those. I use them constantly, but yeah, you can just extend those boxes out. It's not a big deal. So I install 2 of those, and then I start. This first panel is the most important one in this build. It's going to determine how square or not square these panels are to the room. Of course, the room itself is not square, and also these panels are very, very old and salvaged, and they've been taken down, and who knows how square they actually all are to begin with. So to prep for this, I did lay all these out in my basement. I do have different, there's edge panels and there's center panels. I wanted to lay it out so it actually made a pattern. I had enough to do this room. And I spent a couple weeks, not full time, obviously, but going down to the basement and moving around these panels that I had on the floor, deciding how I wanted them to go together. Because they do, they're made to fit together. There's edge pieces and there's pieces that go in the field or the center. So the center 3 pieces where I start are the only 3 that kind of don't fit together. There are 3 odd pieces, but the way I had to lay this pattern out, it ended up being 5 panels wide. So I had an odd section anyway. So it kind of worked out perfect. I ended up having the ribs going down either side and return loops. So it's the pattern I came up with. And after starting in the center and getting that first one square, there's really no room to move these. They fit together. The panels overlap each other. And then there's a nail every 2 inches. So there's a lot of time-lapse video here. But I'm just with a hammer and these tiny, tiny nails. They're called cone nails. They're made for tin ceilings. I'm just hammering every 2 inches, just right into that OSB. And by the end, I get okay. At first, Carol's helping me, hold up one piece and help me get it started. And then by the end, I'm able to I'm a regular tin ceiling person, I guess. I don't know. I can hold them up there myself and get them all nailed in. I can't say I did every hole. I did probably every hole except for 10 or 11. Sometimes you'd get to a hole and the nail, for whatever reason, just wouldn't go through. There was a nail under it or something. I don't know. These, like I said, these have been installed before. This is salvage, but they're definitely not coming off the ceiling. Every 2 inches is definitely overkill. But because it had been installed before, there was holes already in it, and I wanted to make sure I filled those holes And then you'll notice as I get to the end here of this run and put my smoke detector back on and put that ring extension there, I do get a new smoke detector. The other one was very old. Ended up replacing all the ones in our house. Just FYI, you're supposed to replace them every 5 years. So yeah, nice new bright smoke detector up there. And just go back on about my business of nailing. You'll notice that it doesn't come, the ceiling is square. The tin ceiling that I had is square. And I did have exactly this many pieces. That's why I chose to use it in this room. And because I think it'll look good with the gallery room and the copper and the art on the walls and everything. But so I end up making some custom crown molding. That's part of this video. Just some simple kind of, I'm going to call it craftsman style. It's just simple stepped crown molding. That panel there that's gray that I'm putting up right now, you can see that's that color because I walnut shell blasted it a long time ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, when I was thinking about installing this paneling in a different project and didn't end up using it, thankfully, so I still had it. But at the time I was thinking about powder coating these panels, and they need to be sandblasted for that. So I used some walnut shell media, real soft media, and that's why that one's gray. But yeah, the rest of them just have their natural patina on them. Anyway, getting off track. So this gap on either end is going to get filled. I'm going to make some custom crown molding. That's what you see me doing here. Shows Shugibon burning. This is actually a forged burner torch that I made, a forge burner for my forge for blacksmithing. It works great for burning wood if you need to burn some wood. So just set up in the garage, and I'm just burning these little pieces of wood and putting blocking behind them. And again, I have plenty of stuff to nail to there because that OSB is on the ceiling. So I get my first piece on, and then my second piece on. This ends up being a piece of crown molding that's about 6 inches by 4 inches. And then on the sides, I also have a strip. There's a 2-inch strip there where the room was like 10 feet 2 or 10 feet 4 inches. So there's 2 inches on either side. So I just do a black strip in there. Let you listen to the torch. All right, so yeah, you just get those pieces burned and then get them up there. The ceiling didn't end up perfectly square. It was close, over 10 feet. I think it was within a quarter of an inch. So I did end up having to scribe those boards and trim them appropriately so they fit. And then, yeah, just get them nailed in with the nail gun. I got my rag here. I kept getting black soot all over the walls. These did get tongue oiled after the burning. And then there was a couple holes in the ceiling in the tin. Again, it's old. It's antique tin, the real deal. None of that plastic junk you get from Home Depot. And so I took a torch. That's a torch there on the table. And I burned the OSB so it was black through there as well. Altogether, though, this is a really fun project. It took about, 3 days, I think, all in total. Of course, I did it over several weeks, but all in total, I think about 3 days. Since I own the tin ceiling already, it was really pretty inexpensive. It was 4 sheets of OSB, and then just some pine 1x there that I made the trim out of that I burned. So not really an expensive project at all. But yeah, whether you're reusing antique ceiling or purchasing ceiling, a project like this is totally tackleable by yourself. Just take your time, lay everything out, make sure your lines are square on your ceiling. You're going to have to scribe something on the end. Usually rooms aren't square. And just go from there. Just work slowly, methodically. And yeah, hope you're having a great week. Go out and build something. Cheers.